Hi guys, hope all well with everybody and you've had a good week. Time to speak about another topic related to nutrition. Speaking about the most favorite nutrient today, carbs. I think we all are in a condition or in a situation where we are using carbs as our primary source of fuel. And that I would say is the first thing that needs to change when you're looking at fueling your body better. Now, most of us blame carbs for excess weight gain. Some of us want to cut out carbs completely because that immediately, drastically, gives you a lot of weight drop on the scale. But at the end of the day, I would still say that carbs are important and it is not something that you need to cut out completely from your diet. However, looking at alternatives or understanding the quantity of carbs you need to use, or more importantly, understanding what you're using it for, is extremely crucial. So, like I said, we are using carbs as our primary source of fuel because that's all we've known, right? Buying wheat or maida or any kind of sugar or any kind of lentils or just everything that we eat, fruits, honey, jaggery, all of these things are very easily available in the market. And if you were to actually replace all your flour and your fruits, etc., with something that's healthier, it would only be coconut flour or almond flour, which is not yet as popular. But in my opinion, it will gain some popularity in the years to come. Now, the reason why I'm saying this is that carbs are just convenience for everybody. They're convenient when you're sad, they're convenient when you're happy, it's easy to cook, economically viable, and obviously, at the end of the day, if you look at India, the staple diet is mostly carbs. If you look at countries abroad, yes, they also indulge in a lot of breads, a lot of savory, a lot of bakery items. So I'm not going to ask you to cut out carbs completely, but what I do want to explain in today's episode are the two different types of carbs: simple carbs and complex carbs. Basically, the difference between these two are fast release of glucose or energy, which is through simple carbs, which are all things white. So your white rice, your white bread, white sugar, all of this, and your complex carbs or all things brown, your millets, your quinoa, your ragi, your jowar, oats. All of these are complex carbs which have a slower release of glucose in the body, which basically means that when you consume smaller portions of complex carbs, for example, brown rice or even red rice, it is going to release your some amount of your insulin, but it is not going to spike it as much as white rice or white bread will. So, sticking to millets, using those as alternatives is a great way to get in the carbs, but also ensure that you're not eating too much of it. And obviously, also ensure that you're getting in other nutrients, because what happens is if I give you 100 grams of white rice in one meal, it's super easy to consume. But if you do consume that, it gets harder for you to get in the proteins and the fats that you also need to make sure are on your plate. But if I'm looking at something like brown rice, a smaller portion of brown rice is going to help me feel fuller much faster. And then that also makes space for adding in some other nutrients onto my plate. Now, the thing with sugar, we're all of the opinion that natural sugar is okay, that comes from fruits, and brown sugar is okay because it's less. Now we have coconut sugar, we have palm sugar. Hate to break it to you, but sugar is sugar. Your body does not know whether the sugar has come from a palm tree or it has come from some other source, or it has come from fruit, or it has come from chocolate sauce, right? Your body metabolizes sugar in the same way. The reason being, sugar basically is made up of two units. Either it's a monosaccharide, which means single unit, or it's a disaccharide, which means two units. Now, the ones that are monosaccharides are basically glucose and fructose. And the ones that are disaccharide, which is your sucrose, maltose, lactose, and a bunch of other toses, which I will mention in the description below, are all made up of either glucose or sucrose or fructose. So basically, at the end of the day, when you're consuming anything that is sweet, it will have some amount of glucose and fructose in it. That is why there is no difference between consuming jaggery or honey or just white sugar. Now, does sugar actually have those many calories? So, ideally, 1 tablespoon of sugar, if it's about 5 to 6 grams of sugar, it will probably give you 20-25 calories. But the point is not about how many calories it gives you. The point is about whether it does anything to you nutritionally other than just affecting your taste buds. Now, 1 spoon of sugar is not going to be enough for your energy, right? What you're adding the sugar for in your tea is mostly to satisfy your taste buds. If you're having 5 cups of tea, you're adding 5 spoons of sugar, which is basically going up to at least 100, 150, 200 calories, empty calories, because you're not going to be able to use this for anything. Reason being, when you're having a cup of tea, the energy that's releasing while you're having tea or even after, it's mostly going to go unused, because immediately after that, you're not going to go do a hectic workout, right? When you look at something like a banana or a fruit that you want to consume half an hour before your workout, then yes, you can consume a fruit before your workout. That is what will give you an instant kick or an energy rush that you can use to start off with your first set and your second set in the gym. But what you really need towards the end of your workout is something more sustainable. Fats, and fats is something that I'm going to deal with in another episode. But always try and pair your carbs with fats so that you have a source of instant energy and you also have a source of sustainable energy, which pretty much go hand in hand, because something that is going to get over faster is your energy from the carb, and something that's going to last a little while longer, probably keep you full and also prevent you from binging in between or eating more in the next meal, is going to be the fats. So speaking about carbs, you don't have to really eliminate them. All you need to do is make better choices. You need to have some sort of control over your portions. You need to ensure that your carbs are not overpowering your plate at any point. If you're having, let's say, bread and eggs for breakfast, then ensure that you're having 2 eggs or 3 eggs and 1 toast, not 1 egg and 2 toasts, right? So that is the balance that you ideally need to create. And also remember that carbs are present in everything that you eat, including fiber, including some salads. Pretty much each and every item we put into our mouth has some amount of carbs in them. So it is really hard to completely eliminate carbs from your daily routine, and it's not something you really need to do. But it is also important to understand that using carb as your primary source of fuel may not be the best for you, because it churns out energy really quickly. And if that energy is not used, forget about it being stored as fat. It will also make you hungrier much faster, which basically means that the more times you're hungry in the day, the more calories you're actually consuming. So try and ensure that you use it as a secondary source of fuel instead, which allows you to kind of have a little bit of carbs as and when you need that quick go or that quick start or just like a bout of energy. Mostly during high activity periods, you can consume a little bit at lunch. At dinner, you need to see if you have a high level of activity or anything that you're going to be doing post dinner, because then if you're going to eat and sleep within an hour or half an hour or just relax in bed, you really don't need that instant energy at night. What you do need at night is then a source of sustainable energy. So pound on those proteins, pound on those fats, so that the next morning when you wake up, you're not craving for food, you're not hungry, you're still as excited to start your day. Any questions about carbs, any other tips you would like, please let me know or comment on the box below. And do read the breakdown of sugar and why I said sugar is sugar, and all of it is metabolized the same way in our body. Switch to an alternative, which is stevia or monk fruit extract, available everywhere abroad. Stevia you can use from the company Sugar Free, which is available in India, and you can use the pellets instead of the powder, because with the powder you will not realize the amount you're pouring, and if you add too much then it may become bitter. So you can look at the pellets, and yeah, if there's anything else you can let me know. What we will discuss in the next episode is calories, counting your calories, and why that may not be required at all.